message. The future is not set.
It's like a rave, losing track of our water on a regular basis. Turn off the music. Welcome back, everybody. Bitcoin mining world hosting the Bitcoin Village here at CypherCon 2025. Yeah. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and things that are interesting to Bitcoin miners. We're going to talk about waste gas. Something that I'm very passionate about is gas. And I think there's a lot of good uses for gas that we can find in the world. So we're going to talk about turning waste into wealth, Bitcoins for the oil and gas companies. Bitcoins, that's the plural. So we want to talk about how we can turn the MCFs into BTCs. And there's some interesting facts. So if you are unfamiliar with the gas industry, there is a ton of natural gas out there. There's natural gas all over Texas. There's gas all over Oklahoma, from Michigan through to Pennsylvania. There's natural gas resources that are being wasted. They're being burned. And there's an opportunity to turn those into Bitcoin. So let's take a look at some of the numbers. There's exactly 6,292 flares in the USA right now. That is a ton of flared gas. I don't know how many tons, but it's about 10.6 billion cubic meters. If you want to do the math, it's a lot. How much is 10.6 billion cubic meters of natural gas being burned in gas flares, wasted, not being turned into any type of use? You could heat 5.6 million homes for a year. Yeah. Did you hear the crowd? They all sighed. Wow. Yeah. That's $1.17 billion that's going up in smoke. And that's not even a Cheech and Chong movie. So what are the challenges behind using a flare gas? There's a ton of challenges. The reason they're burning it is because there's safety issues. The gas is in a remote area, and if they don't burn it, it's going to explode. So they light up a flare, they burn it off. The other part of it is the economics of it. The gas can be sour gas. Sour gas means it's dirty. It's got a lot of sulfur or other chemicals that are in it that make it hard to burn. It's not that valuable. It could have low BTUs in it. There's a number of different things that can happen to make sure that that gas is not going to make it to the mid station to be processed. And then there's the environment. You know, burning methane into CO2, it has lesser of an environmental impact. So there's a number of different reasons why there are these flare gas operations. But when we can turn waste gas into Bitcoin, there's a lot of benefits. So the way that it works is waste gas can be captured, and instead of flaring it and burning it, it can be processed, put through a generator, and turned into electricity. That electricity can be turned into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really valuable. It's worth about $85,000 today, but the stock market went down, so it might be worth a little bit less. What's the current number on Bitcoin? What do we got? 84? So it's 82.7, so it held up better than the stock market. It's still worth a lot of money. But in the future, Bitcoin will be worth a lot more. So when you get into turning gas into Bitcoin, you're investing in the future. And here's what it looks like. If you were to mine 24 Bitcoin, and it grows at 20% a year over 3 years, those 24 Bitcoin will be worth $3.5 million. Now, 20%, you're like, where did that number come from? That's a huge number that Bitcoin is just going to magically raise up 20%. Well, over the last 5 years, Bitcoin has gone up 59.4% average over the last trailing 5 years. So we're taking a conservative estimate of 20 years. But let's say you're ambitious. What does 24 Bitcoin look like after 40% raise in the value of Bitcoin? $5.5 million, almost $5.6 million. And if you want to go by the average of what it's gone over the past 5 years, those 24 Bitcoin are worth $8.3 million. So when you look at what is the benefit of turning that gas that is just going up in smoke and being burned, it's money. It turns into value. It turns into wealth that can be built for your company. There's also tax implications. Now, if you have a Bitcoin mining company next to your oil and gas company, there's ways that you can sell the gas to the Bitcoin company, or you can buy the electricity from the oil company. You can sell those at profits or losses to benefit you in a tax way. You can also take that money that is being generated, the Bitcoin that's being generated, hold it, and then do things with it that will benefit you in a tax way rather than just having just cash income. So the taxes are very important. It's also cheaper to mine a Bitcoin than it is to buy a Bitcoin. So this chart, what this shows you is it shows you the cost of mining a Bitcoin compared to the cost of a Bitcoin. So, and the cost is the value that it's selling for on the market. And you can see over the past 6 months, there's been this great time when all of the mining costs are less than the value that you can buy it for. So you're making a profit. But here's the deal. When you're doing flare gas, you can mine a Bitcoin for well under $65,000. So your profit margin is huge. Like the cost to produce that electricity is under 3 cents per kilowatt per hour. And it's going to give you an opportunity to have a huge margin for your business, for your oil and gas business, to help you improve your bottom line, improve shareholder benefit, and improve your status in the community. Okay. And we already talked about that. It's cheaper to mine than to buy. So, benefits. Flares to mining rigs. You can unlock the $1.17 billion in value that is being burned in gas flares all over the country. You're making mini power plants nationwide. These power plants can be used to run your compressors, to run your cleaners, scrubbers, the other facilities that are on your property that you are paying high electrical costs to keep your oil and gas mining operation running. And your waste becomes a resource. You're improving your bottom line. You're connecting profit and sustainability. It's an improvement to run your gas through a cleaner and then run it through a generator compared to just running your gas into a flare. The environmental impact is greatly improved, and you're going to come out way ahead to help the world be a better place. And you're tackling real-world energy problems and reducing emissions through technology. So what's the implementation? How can you get this done? First we got to take a look at your site. Where is this place going to be? If it's in West Texas where there's bandits and everything else running around, it might be a little tough to put a small Bitcoin mine without security. But if you are in Michigan or you're in Pennsylvania where there's community around the Bitcoin mining facility, around your gas mining facility, it's a little bit easier to put that in there. There's also regulations. The units that we use are all EPA certified, so they don't have the same restrictive restrictions from the local gas regulators that non-EPA certified machines do. Once we decide what your site, or once we assess your site and realize that it's a viable area to put in a Bitcoin mine, we're going to look at the equipment in the mining, the generators and the mining equipment to get the project up and running. And then we're going to look at, is there a grid tie that we can do to back it up when your gas goes down, when there's fluctuations or repairs that are needed on your gas well, that you may need to have a backup, or if it's profitable just to shut the mine off and go into a dark mode until you get that up and running. We can also scale up by adding additional mining sites to other wells throughout your properties or company. So join the energy revolution. There's great partnership opportunities, there's investment potential, and you are an environmental leader by doing this. So let's connect and see if your oil and gas project is a great place and a good fit for Bitcoin mining. And until then, we'll see you at the Bitcoin Mining World events worldwide.